You'll no doubt remember July 16th this year, a street barbecue on Danzig Crescent. 2 people shot to death, 23 injured at the time. Toronto police said they would spare no effort in tracking down those responsible. Today, Toronto police announced an initiative against a notorious Scarborough street gang known as the Galloway Boys, accusing them of a year-long murderous rampage. Pam Seidel is live at the scene of one of those shootings tonight, Danzig Crescent. Pam?
Gord, the shooting that happened here July 16th, right behind this row of townhouses here, left 2 innocent people dead. Police are calling those responsible a small group of young punks, members of the Galloway Boys, who did not want people from Malvern on their turf. It was the worst mass shooting in Toronto history, a night that started as a community barbecue and turned into a tragedy no one will soon forget. 2 innocent people killed, 14-year-old Cheyenne Charles and 23-year-old Joshua Yassay, and 23 others injured.
It's cowardice that they would do this in a group of over 100.
Investigators say the trouble began that night when members of the notorious street gang, the Galloway Boys, attended the barbecue and started using Twitter to invite people, telling them there would be free booze. When people from the rival neighborhood of Malvern showed up, the Galloway Boys immediately told them to leave.
Unfortunately, a very short time later, the people from Malvern returned, bringing other people with them. A second confrontation occurred, which ultimately led to a shootout.
Take a look at this. These are 2 bullet holes in this tree, evidence from that tragic night. Cheyenne Charles was killed right here in this spot. Joshua Yassay, a couple of meters from here, in that spot over there. Police say that night was so horrific that it did bring people forward to them who might not normally speak to police, but it's not enough. Police have arrested 2 people in the Danzig Street incident, one a Galloway boy, the other a young man from Malvern. But the charges are of recklessly discharging a firearm and threatening. The Galloway Boys are responsible for at least 8 other shootings, police allege, including the murder late last year of Dimitri Barnaby, an innocent victim of mistaken identity. Police released security video showing the victim being followed and his terrifying and unsuspecting last moments at the hands of 2 suspects.
The 2 suspects then crouched down, brandishing firearms, and they approached Mr. Barnaby, and without warning, they began to gun him down, and he shot multiple times.
They believe this and other shootings are because of what they call on the streets a beef between the Galloway Boys and males from the nearby Orton Park area.
The investigators believe that the conflict between the Galloway Boys and other neighborhoods in the Scarborough area, and in particular the Orton Park, is being fueled by the Galloway Boys' propensity for violence.
Police say the gang is ruthless. They're into drug dealing, weapons trafficking, and prostitution. And once again, they need witnesses to get them off the street.
We need people that are going to take the box and point these guys out in court.
But residents are reluctant, with good reason. Would you tell the police if you had information about the Galloway Boys or anything?
Unfortunately, at the moment, I wouldn't.
My daughter's not with me right now because of the shooting, and I sent her to her grandma's.
Who's behind us at the end of the day? Like, police say that they're going to put us in protective care, or whoever in protective care, but at the same time, like, for how long?
Investigators do have their work cut out for them. For one thing, none of the victims in any of these 9 shootings is cooperating with them. For another, while there's increased police presence in this neighborhood since July, not everybody's happy about it. In fact, some residents tell me they feel harassed. It's just another example of the gulf that exists between members of this community and police. Live on Danzig Street, I'm Pam Seidel. Now back to the newsroom.
Okay, Pam, thank you for that. The Galloway Boys have been spreading crime and fear in the streets for many years in this city, but police say they are talking about a new generation. Khalid Solomon tonight speaks with an expert about the growth of the gang.
There's a series of high-rise buildings there.
Right.
That's where the Galloway Boys are from.
He's a private eye now with investigative solutions, but back in the early 2000s, Ron Wretham was a platoon commander with 42 Division, a division riddled with gang activity at the time between the Galloway Boys and Malvern crew.
We would come in and start our shift, and by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, there'd be a shooting in the middle of the street up in Malvern or down in Galloway.
Back in 2004, 24-year-old Tayshawn Riley was among 17 people arrested in a gang-related police sweep. He was the leader of the Galloway Boys. Riley remains behind bars, convicted of murder in 4 cases. Wretham tells us in gang wars, it's common for older members to educate the next generation.
It's no different than what we've seen in some of the mafia movies, for example. It's a gang mentality, and they will mentor younger members that want to come into that lifestyle.
The majority of our suspects and the persons involved now are a new generation. How they're being mentored and their ability to obtain guns goes back to the older generation.
The Galloway Boys are back with a vengeance. Since the summer of 2011, the ruthless gang has struck at least 8 times. Incidents that include the Danzig Street shooting in July and the murder of Dimitri Barnaby, December 30th, 2011. He was the wrong target.
It is ringing similar to back in 2002, 2004, which is disturbing.
Chief Bill Blair says the addition of 329 officers to impacted neighborhoods should provide some comfort to concerned residents.
They are, in many cases, fearful of the possibility of repercussions from some of these gangsters, and so we'll do everything we can to lock them up, to incapacitate those people who are threatening others, to solve these cases.
But residents we spoke with today say they won't let gangsters bully them into fear.
If they've been here for a while and nothing's really happened that I've seen, then no.
I feel pretty safe, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've been living here for like 18 years. I feel safe.
While 2 arrests have been made in connection with the shooting here on Danzig Street back in July, both men having affiliations with the Galloway Boys, the killer or killers have yet to be found. On Danzig Street, Galit Solomon, City News.